Today we're doing a gig announcement. We're going to talk about weekend antics and all of that great stuff because I've had quite a interesting weekend. So we'll talk about the gig announcement first. So on the 23rd of August, I have been booked to play in Spennymoor. So you might recognise that name, if you know the place, obviously. But we spoke about this place on the channel a while ago, and I got booked there earlier in the year, and unfortunately, I couldn't attend the event, so I got booked for the event, and I was going to drive down with my mate because he had a free Friday, and then he got called in for some work, and he had to go to work basically, and he couldn't do it. And then I called up on another person who would have possibly have given me a lift, and unfortunately, that person was not available either. So he was actually unwell. So I had to unfortunately give it a miss, and there was always talk that I would return back to I would come to Spennymoor and I'd do like another booking with them, and now I am. So on the 23rd of August, I'm going to Spennymoor for Battle of the Genres. So there's like a pretty good night going on, and it's not what you necessarily think it is, and I think it's quite cool. So they've actually got, believe it or not, there's a rap and hip hop version, not version. There's a rap and hip hop like part of the night as well. So there's some like little like rap and hip hop performances taking place on the night as well as bounce music and bikini music. And I think there's also some like house music as well. So like your almost kind of like your bad boy chiller crew kind of styled MCing going on as well. So it's going to be a little bit of a good night, I think, with a few different little things going on, and I can sort of picture this being something that would kind of attract a bit of a crowd, especially like a little bit of a younger kind of, people that are kind of like sort of 18 plus, kind of, the sort of like the sort of bad boy chiller crew and the Pat Flynn sort of styled sort of MCing, and then they also, like some of the Northeast MCs and stuff as well, so that go over to Makina. So, there's Makina, there's bounce, there's house, there's like rap and hip hop, which is really good. You don't see like rap and hip hop and things, and I think this is going to be a really good night to showcase some like different genres in one night. So I'm looking forward to being a part of this event. I'm playing a bounce set, so I'm gonna go in with some heavy tackle and supply some absolutely amazing bounce tunes. Well, I hope anyway, which will be good. So I'm looking forward to it. It's at the I think it's I can't remember, is it? I think it's the Queen's Inn, not Quids Inn. I think it's Queen's Inn, or something like that. A venue's called. It's on the flyer, but it's going to be a really fun night. So I'm really looking forward to it, and it'll be just a nice, to finally go up to sort of that end and do some northeast sort of styled stuff, and just I'll have a fun time, and and I'll have a little bit of a blast, and see where we go. Essentially, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, I'll be playing a bounce set. I'm not quite sure who is MCing for me yet. I can't. I don't know if it says on the flyer. Actually, I'll have to look back. But yeah, I'm supplying a bounce set, so bounce donk, all of that good stuff. So I'm looking forward to doing that, and looking forward to that going down and taking place. It should be a shed load of fun. So 23rd of August, Spennymoor, Queen's Inn. There's all different genres going on. If you're in the northeast area, get yourself there. I did kind of blow up in that area a little bit like a few years back when I did like the neighbour's ass and stuff before sort of Scarborough Beach kind of took over, and then everybody thought I lived in Scarborough. And people still to this day, for some reason, they think I live in Scarborough. and because I did Scarborough Beach, people think I live there, and sometimes I go live on TikTok and people are like, it's that mush from Scarborough, it's that kid from Scarborough, or you live in Scarborough, don't you? And like, I've never lived in Scarborough. I know Scarborough well. I live relatively close to Scarborough. I live further away from Scarborough now than I used to do. But Scarborough, I would still say, is sort of like within my area. And I do still go to Scarborough. I'm actually gigging there in a couple of weeks. So Scarborough is still, I know Scarborough, and like if I went into Scarborough, like I'd know where I'm going. Like I know the town centre and the seafront. I've been going to Scarborough all my life, but I don't live there. So yeah, but Northeast, I kind of blew up a bit there when I got like posted on Sound of the Northeast and stuff. So it'd be really cool to go and put go and put a look in the place and head up to that end. I mean, we went up to Sunderland a couple of months back. June, I think it was. No, May. Was it May? Yeah, May. May. We went over to Sunderland, so that was we went into the northeast that then. But it'd be good to go up to Spennymoor this time. So I'm looking forward to that. So the weekend antics. What did I get up to this weekend? So Friday I went into work. So Friday I went into work for a little bit because I work a bit on a Friday. And then after work I came back home. My friend was outside talking to one of my other friends, and then I jumped in his car and we went back to his house where he's storing my motorbike, and we just basically like did a little bit of a tidy up in his garage, and we built some shelving units and just cleared some space so that my bike would fit better in his garage where he's storing it at the moment. Gave the bike a fire up and just had a little bit of a sort of like a bit more of a little bit of a look at it a little bit more, and just like going round and testing everything was working. So like when I picked it up on Thursday, I had to come out of work and pick it up, so it was kind of like get it to my mates, store it at my mates, and then kind of head back to work kind of thing. So Friday it was just a case, check do both indicators work, are all the lights working, are all the brake lights working, when you pull the back brake and the front brake, and do the hazard lights work, and all of that kind of stuff, and just bib the horn, does that work, that kind of thing, and just had just a little bit of a look at it before we stored it into the garage, where again that kind of thing once we've built these like shelving units and stuff. So that was good. I got to see the bike again. I got to spend time with the bike. I absolutely love the bike. And for anybody who doesn't know, I bought a motor. Well, I say I bought. I won a motor. Well, I did buy it, but I won a motorcycle on an auction this week. So precisely about a week ago, I came across a motorbike on eBay, and the listing for the motorbike said that the motorbike was from Hull. So the guy selling it was from Hull. So it intrigued me, and then I think a week ago tomorrow, so last Monday, I messaged the guy and inquired with the guy, like, can I come and see this bike? Where is it? Could be potentially quite interested in your bike. Bearing in mind the bike was listed on eBay for nearly £1,000 with just a contact seller. So anyway, to cut the story short, I messaged the guy. The guy told me he was going away on holiday, so he'd put the bike into an auction, and the viewing day was Tuesday, the sale day was Wednesday. So at this point, I was a little bit gutted because I kind of thought, oh, this is going to be one of them, like it's not something where I can potentially have a look at it, and then I can kind of sit on it and think, oh, do I want this bike? Don't I want this bike? I knew that if I potentially wanted this bike, like I'd have to move quickly, and I knew also if I wanted the bike that I'd have to be prepared that it might not go my way, and it could just, people could just bid on it, and it could just get higher and higher. So I wasn't really sure. It kind of put me off a little bit, I'm not going to lie. But I asked him where the auction house was, because I thought at least, I can go and look at the bike, and at least I get to see the bike. And I went to the auction house. They were really nice, and they let me look around the bike, they let me sit on it, they let me start it up. They let me do all kinds of different things, which is obviously a good thing. And I got to kind of just get a little bit of a feel for the bike and stuff like that. And I decided to put a bid in. The reserve had gone like really, really low compared to what it was on eBay. So the reserve had like dropped massively. So unfortunately for the guy who was selling it, the bike didn't go for probably anywhere near as much as he actually wanted to really sell the bike for. But I think the bike wasn't selling on eBay. He was going on holiday. His kind of like last minute thing. Like he couldn't leave it where he was leaving it while he was on holiday. It was just a case of look, I need to put it in this auction and it needs to go. And it needs someone needs we need to try and get rid of it. And if it goes for lower, unfortunately it does. And that is exactly what happened. So I decided to put a bid in because I actually really liked the bike. I fell in love with it. I just thought the bike for me. A lot of people say like Lex Motors and things. They say like, oh, they're bad to get parts, and I'd get like a Yamaha, or people say like getting a Aprilia RS125, and don't get me wrong. I'd love an Aprilia RS125 or like a Yamaha 125, or even like a GSXR 125. I think they're amazing bikes. I love sports bikes. They are the type of bikes that I genuinely like. But the thing about it is I had to be realistic, and I knew that like I just needed something that was going to get me from A to B, so traveling to work, traveling back from work. I just needed something that would get me around. Basically, it wasn't about being able to look and go and pick and choose the nicest bike that's on offer. It's about finding, in some sense, it's about finding the cheapest but good bike that would just be good for getting me sort of like from A to B. So from home to work, to visit my grandparents, that kind of thing. So that was kind of what I was thinking of when it came to a bike at first. When I first thought about I want a bike back, yes, I went into eBay and I browsed RS125s and looked at these really nice bikes that were going for like over £2 grand, and I just knew that for one I couldn't afford that, and for two, like they're not what I need. Like, this is not just about me having something pretty to show, although I do really like the look of my Lex Moto, I'm not going to lie. It was about, what is just going to get me from home to work, and, what's going to get me, when I need to go and visit family members, and what will also just be okay to go on a ride out, if it's a nice day like today, what's to so I can just go in the countryside and have a little bit of a ride, and maybe go to a biker cafe or something. So that's why I kind of went, for the sort of type of bike that I did. But I bidded on it. I put a maximum bid, and basically we didn't reach the maximum bid. So it was £100 off the maximum bid. So I was willing to bid up to a certain amount, but we didn't get to that certain amount before the auction ended. So someone bidded. So when I went to the auction, the reserve was at so much. It was £100 off the reserve. So I went and put a maximum bid on. So I went and said to the people, look, I'm willing to go up to so much. They put that on, and then it automatically put £100 bid on for me, which meant we was now, the reserve was now met. And then since I bidded, no one else bidded apart from one person who bidded something like £50, and then it automatically made me bid because it hadn't reached my reserve, if that makes sense. It hadn't gone past what I would bid up to. So I then took it basically, so it become then another 100 to what it was at when I first, it went from just under the reserve to them being to them being £100 over the reserve by the time I won it, and then that was £100 under what I was willing to go up to. So I didn't even go up to everything that the whole amount that I wanted to bid on it, which was good. And then I won the motorcycle. So obviously I was excited. I had a lot of anxiety. I was just kind of like, oh, am I gonna win this? Am I gonna win this? Have I done the right thing? I was a little bit kind of worried after I'd bidded, like, because I've never bidded in auctions before. So that was, you know, that was obviously, a big thing, like, because I've never done that before, and I did it on my own as well. There was nobody with me. I just kind of moved. I spoke to my friend on the phone, and I told him that I'd put this bid in, and then he was kind of like, well, why didn't you bid more? And then I was like, look, if I bidded more, like I had to pay a buyer's premium. So basically, whatever the bike sells for, there's like so much on top of that. So they added quite a bit of buyer's premium on. So I told them in the auction room like the limit, like in total that I'd be willing to spend. So like I said, look, I'd be. So I said in all honesty, I said, look, because when I saw it first on eBay, I was willing to offer the guy what it said on eBay, which was just under a grand. So I was like, look, in all total, I am willing to go up to around the nine, around the just under a grand mark. And they said, well, look, if the bid goes higher than so much, and then it adds the buyer's premium on, it's gonna end up costing more than what you were gonna pay as a total. Um, so I had to literally put that maximum bid in. That was like the highest maximum bid I could put in before it would go over like everything that I could literally afford, if that makes sense. So at first, and I think it was a little low, ideally, like, but I don't think the bike was well known in the auction, and I don't think a lot of people really knew it was there. And I think it was just a little bit of a weird auction, like you have like PlayStations and vinyl records, and then you've just got about three different bikes. And the thing what really blew my mind is there was a moped scooter that, like, no word of a lie, there was a moped scooter that literally went for more than what I paid for the bike. And I've got a proper geared 125 bike, so I was a little bit like, wow, like I didn't expect that. But that was like kind of pretty cool. That I ended up getting that for cheaper, but yeah. So I had to bid what I bidded, but I was a little bit nervous, like, because I thought, the bike's in quite a good condition as well. So I could see this, like, I could see me like being outbidded, and I think my friend also thought I was going to be outbidded. When I told him like I've won the bike, he literally, his words, like his text messages was like, fuck off. Like, are you being serious? And I was like, I'm being totally serious. I've fucking won the motorcycle. So I was proper buzzed. So we picked it up on Thursday, as I said in the last stream, when I updated you all to say that I'd won it, but I'd say again because I'm excited. But yeah, so we picked it up Thursday. We took it briefly back to his house, and then we stored it. And then, like I say, Friday we just sort of put some shelves up and made a bit more better room to store it, because it's going to sit there for about a week and a half to 2 weeks, I think. Because I've got my CBT and stuff to do, and when you book a CBT, like if I went to book one now, like I couldn't book one and then go and do it tomorrow. You have to wait for like certain dates, and one of the dates I wanted to do, I'm actually not available myself on that date. I've got a gig. So it's going to be, I think, a week on Saturday is when I'm going to do the CBT. And then I've just got to insure and tax the bike, and I'm good to go. And I'm also waiting at the moment for my provisional license to come through the post. I lost mine in my wallet. I had a wallet stolen, um, and yeah, the provisional license was in it, so I lost that. And me being the stupid me, because at the time I wasn't even thinking about getting a bike. I just kind of put it off, and never thought to I always kind of thought I need to reapply for it, but there was never for me there was never like a real important reason to apply for it, and then it actually works as like ID as well. So that was kind of like where I kind of thought, oh, actually, I could actually do with it. So I need to, that's sort of like due to come in the post, get that all sorted, and then once in a couple of weeks I should be good to go. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit itchy and ratty. Like I'd love to just do the CBT tomorrow. I'd love to if the provisional was here and then just get insured, and then boom, we're absolutely good to go. But at least I know I've got the bike, and at least I know I am going to be able to ride it like very soon. And I'm glad I went for the bike that I went for, just because I know, like I say, it's going to be right for me from getting from that A and then going to B and stuff like that. So that was the whole bike thing on the Friday, and then Saturday came, and my friend at the Layman sent me a text, and he said he was going to the No Man's Land event. So originally he wasn't planning to go, because I don't think they'd confirmed him for doing some pictures or something, he wasn't originally going to go, and I always kind of wanted to go to the event, but because of where it was, it wasn't feasible for me to get there. Because it was on like a field, and it was outside of Doncaster, so it's not somewhere where you can just hop off the train station and walk there. I wasn't really planning to go. And then he texted me yesterday morning and said, I'm going here today. And then I said, oh, look, if you don't mind, can I come for the ride with you, and can I come to the event? And he said, yeah, I'm going in about an hour, so make sure you're ready. So I went to hit up No Man's Land, and what an amazing day I had. I just want to say, what an amazing event it was. It was so good. It was so enjoyable. The whole vibe of it was amazing, and I'm so glad that I got to go and witness it. There was loads of great DJs there, from Joey Riot. There was Mark Breeze. There was Transgenerators. There was Sims, Kirby, Owen NRG, which will come on to them in a moment, because they are not getting out of this live stream without being mentioned, because they absolutely did damage at that festival yesterday, and I was so buzzed when they did. But we'll come back to that. And there were so many great artists and so many great people on the lineup. There was NKN. There was all different kinds of music, from hard trance, reverse bass, bounce, hardcore. Little bit of a mix going on. And then they had an after party back at the Doncaster warehouse, which we didn't actually go to. We left the actual festival, and we got some food, and then we just kind of. I actually felt quite tired. I'm not gonna lie, but I would have pushed myself to go. I felt like I was tired, but I felt in the mood and the vibe where I could have gone. But Lehman said that he felt a bit tired himself, so we both settled and agreed that we'd just not pop into the little after party at the warehouse, and we'd just go home essentially, instead of going there and then coming home later and just get a good night's sleep. And in all fairness, I've got quite a busy week this week as well, so having that little bit of an earlier night and being a bit more fresh today, not kind of fucking up the sleep pattern, is definitely a good thing for me. Got some busy work things happening this week, and got to sort more things out with the bike and stuff, and get things sorted. So that's obviously like a big thing for me to do that. And yeah, just basically that is basically the way it goes. So, but yeah, the event was really good. The event was absolutely fantastic. Like I said, it was all different music. There was two tents. It was outdoors. The weather was really good. And the weather, because I went to it last year as well. I went to one last year, and we had a heat wave last year. And last year, like no word of a lie, it was absolutely horrible. Like not the event, nothing against the event, but the weather, it was just too warm, and by the end of the night I was actually throwing up with a headache and I'd got heat stroke. So this time it was like it was still a really nice warm day, but it wasn't too warm and it got a little bit shady. And then even in the evening it came like a little shower of rain, which it was really good because it didn't like proper like rain to the point where the things rained off. It just came almost like where it just came a few little bit of drizzle, and it just kind of dampened just the warmth a bit, and it just cooled it down a little bit, and it just kind of made everything quite nice. It wasn't to the point where you'd need to go and like put your coat on, or you'd need to like go and like just stand inside a tent. It was just a few little spots of rain came, drizzled for a little bit. It just felt nice. It cooled the air down, and then it stopped raining, and then it didn't rain again. So that was really good. So anyway, so set of the day for me. So the set of the day for me goes to Kirby and Owen NRG. So they absolutely, and I say this lightly, they absolutely demolished their set. Like they absolutely killed it. The mad thing about it is the vibe they had for their set as well was just absolutely unreal. So there was I can't remember who was on in the main tent, but it was a headliner. In the main tent, and everybody literally like more or less left that tent. And that headliner unfortunately had not really many people to play for, and Kirby and Owen NRG, like their tent was absolutely rammed. Like you could not get in there. Like if you were in there, like you weren't getting in there. Like it was crowded inside the tent, it was crowded outside the tent and around the tent. And they just absolutely blew the whole entire festival up. You know, like the place was just absolutely crazy. People couldn't believe it. Like other artists that were in the green, sort of like in the artist area, and the other MCs, are all coming and watching, and they were all kind of like wow, and they couldn't believe like what they'd done, like how they'd just like crammed this tent, and I just thought, like it's absolutely amazing, and it just goes to show like people who like reverse bass, and don't get me wrong, I like reverse bass, but people who like their reverse bass and their hard trance and their harder stuff, like they all pipe up online, and they all like slate bounce, and they all slate the cheesy music, and they all slate, like, oh, I don't, it's too cheesy for me, is all that bounce and donk, and I hate that donk, and I can't stand donk, and I hate donk, and even some of the MCs say it, that like, like to like host on like the harder sets and things, and they go like, oh, I can't stand donk me, um, but unfortunately, like look at the statistics, the logistics statistics of what happened. So you had a headliner who was on in the main tent, and he wasn't playing anything really what you'd call cheese. If anything, I think he was playing like a more like underground, kind of like less vocally, kind of like trance stroke sort of harder set. And then you've got Kirby and Owen NRG that are playing all these like well-known sing-alongs, and like remixes of clubland classics and dance tunes and chart tunes, and you've got the whole tent, rammed, going off, people singing, and like I say, people slate and say that like our bounce is cheesy, and people have even like taken the mick out of Andy Whitby and called him Andy Shitby, and I can't stand him, but unfortunately, as much as they can sit there and their hard trance and their genre of music is the best music, they unfortunately they're not the it's not they're not the tents that are filling, unfortunately, when you've got people like Whitby on, and when you've got all this like commercial remixes coming through, and remixes of clubland tracks and well-known vocals, Shooting Star, and then when you've got like You're Shining, and then you've got like you've got all these like well-known tracks coming in. People know them and sing along to them. And the thing about it is you can have it in any genre. You could play a hardcore set and it'd be full of vocals and it'd be full of well-known stuff, and you'd get a crowd. If I don't know, say for example, Club Filler was in that outside tent, and it was the same scenario, that tent would have been rammed because Club Filler's playing stuff that people know, people sing along to. And unfortunately, the days of underground hard trance records and underground rave tunes are not the thing anymore. If you play something, I don't know, from '95, and it never really made it like massive as a track, but it was well known in the underground rave scene, and it was a white labeled vinyl. People are, unfortunately, they're not gonna play it. They're not gonna really be interested in it. Whereas you play something like Breeze and Styles, You're Shining, that was it was a big clubland tune back in its time, and it was well known, and it's had loads of different remixes, and people love it. That is obviously what it's all about. That's the whole vibe of it. And unfortunately, that's the way it goes. People who live in the '90s and the old school raves are the best. They're not feeling it anymore, unfortunately. And it proved it right there with that set, that there was absolutely, that they had the crowd. They had all the well-known sing-along tracks. They had all the right vibes. Everybody, the likable DJs, they bring an energy. Owen NRG absolutely smashes it. And he's, I'd say he's definitely one of the best rising Doncaster talented DJs. He's absolutely killing it. So, they just did an absolutely amazing set, and I was just absolutely buzzed. Like, it just gave me a smile on my face. Like, when you could just see, like, the crowd, like, not only just there in the tent, but how they was enjoying themselves, and that is what it's all about. Like, if you can get a crowd like that, you are doing something right as a DJ. The tune selection was on point, their mixing was on point, their energy was on point, and it was like the crowd being as hyper as the crowd was. Like, it was giving them more energy, and the MC was on point. The MC wasn't babbling all the way through, and he was really complimenting the like what the DJs were doing. He wasn't just coming in on every drop with all his quick 16s. He was really complimenting. He just did an absolutely belting set. And people couldn't believe it. People that were in that VIP sort of artist area, they were looking. They were in there, and they were coming over, because you could get to behind the decks in that other tent, from the VIP sort of artist area. So they were coming up and looking, and it was really good to see. It was amazing, and it really made the event for me. Just seeing two local lads get up there and absolutely smash it. Unfortunately, but yeah, it was amazing to see. Absolutely amazing to see. So yeah, really good event. So it finished at 10. We got food. We drove to Doncaster, because at first I think we was like, we was kind of like gonna hit up the after party, and then we ate, and then we can't, and then Lee just kind of layman said, look, I feel a bit like done in. We've just done 8 hours there. Should we, let's just go home, shall we? And and I said to him, I said, look, I'm easy. I said, look, if you want to go to the after party, I'll come with you. If you want to go home, we'll go home. Like, I wasn't particularly gutted that we missed it. But at the same time, like, if he had wanted to have gone, I would have gone. That's the kind of vibe I was feeling. You know, because I did feel a bit tired, but I thought, you know, I'll do it if you want to do it. You know, we are literally like, it is literally just round the corner from where we was eating. So like, if you do want to do it, I will do it. But you know, if you want to go home, you know, I'm happy to do that. So yeah, then we opted to go home, and now we're here, and it's Sunday. So yeah, so really good weekend antics. Been a really good weekend. Next week we've got Skater Fest, which is really good. And I'm also in Cleethorpes on the Friday for the Ultimate Bounce, and that is going to go down as well. So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, let's roll. Let's go. Let's do this. And yeah, so make sure to like, comment, share, and we'll see you soon. I think somewhere like one beyond.